Peace. Reading and writing, addition, those are a part of society. That's a part of any given society. Those components, being able to read, being able to write, being able to use numbers. That's the makeup of our society. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing is that when we understand that, it's important to understand how that applies to our people, particularly when you look at different groups and organizations of our, that we are a part of. We have many times in these organizations, we have people who are leaders, you know what I mean? Or people who are in positions to lead. The problem is that these people who are in positions to lead, they lack certain qualities, little things that mean a lot, like reading and writing. It's important to be able to read. It's important to be able to write, because if you're expressing your feelings in a written form, it should be written in such a way where it can be read and understood. There shouldn't be red circles around words and letters because everything is misspelled or it's out of context. This happens a lot with our people in different organizations. We have people who are leading and who basically can't read or write, who are in positions who can't read or write, who are being put in positions by others. You know what I'm saying? And those who put them in positions may not know that they could read or may not be able to read or write properly, but they will put them in that position anyway because of characteristic, maybe because they have charisma or whatever. But it's going to come down to a point where that leader or leaders will have to eventually begin to instruct and to do certain things. And when you're doing that, you must be able to use your words in the proper context and to be able to define those words and make those words understood to your so-called followers or your group or your organization. It's very important. This is something we have a big community of adult illiteracy. It's huge. We have adult illiterates walking around. This is why we have so many young illiterates, which is why they push the ideal of illiteracy being cool, because their examples of illiteracy is coming from the home and so on and so forth. So the thing is this: how can you lead and you can barely write a sentence? You don't know what a subject or a predicate is. You don't know what a noun, verb, or an adjective is. You understand? Or an adverb. You have no basic grammar skills. So this ties back to our people. Again, one of the old sayings is, if you want to keep something from a nigga, you put it in a book. You understand? Because niggas don't read books. Well, let's take a look at that updated right now. You know what I mean? I mean, when we think about what's happening and why it's so important to be able to contextualize words and define words properly when you have a membership or a group of people who look to you for leadership. Now you understand why Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, said, if you get a good European education, I could use you. He wasn't saying that that's going to make you better than everybody else. What he was saying is that you have insight and proper context into the basics of language, grammar, and so on and so forth. Because in order to be a good Moorish leader, you have to study your three pieces of literature, and you have to study yourself. You understand? And you have to be able to give this information away. So when the prophet was saying you get a good European education, I can use you, he wasn't telling you to get a good European education so that he could take you in and use you as a doctor or whatever, even though that would be a great thing. What he was saying most of the times, in my opinion, this is my opinion, my belief, you know what I'm saying, from what I deduce, from what I gather, is that if you get a good European education, I could use you, meaning you could be a good leader because you understand words. You understand? And you're coming to a people who doesn't really understand the English language at that particular time. And to this day, we still don't understand it because we use it out of context till right now. In this day, we use a lot of words out of context all the time. We have a misinterpretation of what words mean. Again, can't even write a complete sentence. This is also, I believe, why the Father came out. One of the reasons when he came out of the temple and brought the supreme wisdom out and added mathematics and alphabet was because brothers wasn't reading. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have that breakdown. So he gave you the basics again. He gave you the alphabet, A, B, C, A to Z. He gave you the alphabet, the basics of grammar, and he gave you the basics of numbers, the number system, 0 to 9. He gave you the basics. You understand? You put it together. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You added it all up. But the point was, he brought you back a basic European education in a sense. Now, European education, let's jump on that. Everything that is of the European education basically is from the mystery systems of our people. 1 through 12, K through 12, that 12, again, is a very symbolic number, you know what I'm saying, to us. You know what I mean? It ties into a lot of different dynamics culturally and anciently. But the reality is that a good European education actually is ours. Who educated Europe? All we got to do is go back and study history. Who educated Europe? You understand? When you know history, you can move differently in this paradigm right here. So again, a good European education doesn't necessarily mean that it's making you better. You know what I'm saying? What he was saying is that at least you can read or write and you understand things in the right context. And that's how I can use you, by sharing that information and giving it in the right context. Like I said, we got leaders today in different organizations, including the Moorish Science Temple of America, who can't read or write. And you can see it when they post. You understand? And that's a shame. So, it's important to learn how to read or write if you're going to be a good leader. And adult illiteracy is a problem, and we have to move past that. First, we have to identify it. Don't be ashamed if you can't read, well. But you know what you do? You read every day, because you'll get better. Reading takes practice. Certain things takes practice in order to get good at it. You understand? Mathematics is a science. It's a pure science. It's the only science that can correct itself. It can't be wrong. You understand? So, and everything is based on those realities right there. Those little things, reading, writing, and math. That's the basics. You understand? And that is the idea that we need to recognize, is that we have to be able to teach and demonstrate this information and be able to answer the questions and so on and so forth, and show how to research and use words properly in the right context and so on and so forth. But you must be a student to become that. And nothing is wrong with being educated to the point where you can educate your own people. It doesn't matter where you get the education from, but it's what you do with it that counts. You understand? Each one, reach one, teach one. You understand? So it doesn't matter where you get the education from or how you get it. It's what you do with it, and you bring it back to your people. And you use it amongst your people for better. On that note, peace.